We now have with us two student representatives from the United States of America. I would first invite live with us Mr. Michael Crowley. He's a student and a youth icon from the USA, a follower of the Gandhian thought and a member of our Jaihind global team. I would request my tech team to take Michael Crowley on the screen. I open the stage for your comments, sir.
Hello again and namaste. Thank you for that kind introduction. My name is Mike Crowley from the state of Michigan in the United States, and thank you to everyone that's tuned in the Jaihind People's Movement, especially Dr. Sudhir Tambe and his wife, Mrs. Durgati Tambe, and also Global Coordinator Dr. Suraj Gavande, for inviting me to talk about a healthy democracy, today's challenges and actions. Today I'll touch on the threat of ultranationalism, the facade that is meritocracy, and I'll end by reiterating an echoed suggestion for our future. Albert Einstein was quoted saying, "Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind." And I chose this quote because Einstein lived through the rise of ultranationalism in Nazi Germany. And I think the quote is optimistic in a way because it suggests that ultranationalism is preventable. Ultranationalism and fascism can be seen as symptoms of xenophobia, which its onset can be rationalized as being a downstream event that follows social unrest. And the threat of xenophobia is increasingly pervasive in communities across the globe today and is exemplified in religious division and caste hierarchy. To give a little better context, the reality of our new era is that advertising firms and ad placement powered by deep learning artificial intelligence is unfortunately incentivized to polarize us in a habitual way. I'm inclined to believe this technology was implemented with the goal to uphold the status quo. And it's obvious that we're becoming the commodity product rather than being the customer of our own ideas. So we should be asking why and to what end. And for the sake of peace and prosperity for all, we should strive to find peaceful ground with our neighbors as a starting point to resolve our problems. Okay, now let's talk about the facade that is meritocracy. It's easy to see why most of us find the idea of meritocracy appealing. It carries with it the idea of moving beyond where you start in life. But the fact is that merit is a term that's often manipulated, and meritocracy becomes a guise for the social systems in place that are designed to reward inherited capital. What's observable is that we're often reared to accept that children are destined to become either success striver stories or slacker failure stories based on their merits. The act of competing for success is deeply ingrained in us, and those who can't withdraw an existing privilege are relentlessly being reminded to work harder to reach the next rung on the proverbial ladder. The current model doesn't actually aid in social mobility, and we are living in an educational apartheid that uses very narrow measures to divide children and that privileges the already privileged. In order to get past this predatory phase of human development, we need to address the elephant in the room and call for a global progressive tax on capital, close corporate loopholes, and insist on transparency. I have faith these progressive ideas will eventually be echoed loud enough and crystallized into public opinion, but it's definitely an uphill battle with complacency and disengagement being major obstacles to overcome. So to build a healthy democracy, a conscious effort needs to be made inclusive, and secular values must be imbibed. And I would like to end with a beautiful quote from a poet and spiritual leader most famously known as Rumi. Somewhere between right and wrong, there's a garden. I will meet you there. Thank you all. Please stay happy, healthy, and safe. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Michael.